Good morning, this is Sonia from An Enthusiastic Reader. I am here today to do a tag video, believe it or not, the end of the year book tag. It was originated by Adam from Momento, Mori, and I saw Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading doing the tag the other day, and I thought this is really a great way to wrap up the year, to ruminate on things that have happened in the past and maybe make some bold predictions for the future. So I am going to just get started with the prompts. Okay, the first prompt is the longest book you read this year and the book that took you the longest to finish. The longest book I read this year was the Balkan Trilogy by Olivia Manning. It was 921 pages, and surprisingly, it was not the book that took me the longest to finish because I read it as a group read with Sarah from Hardcover Hearts and a bunch of really great people from all over the world, and we read it in 1 month. So that was quite an accomplishment, I think. The book that took the longest for me to finish was The Anthropocene, reviewed by John Green, because I read that really, I think I started it actually in 2021 and I just finished it in 2022 because I was listening to it really slowly. So that took me a long time to read. I really enjoyed it though. I would highly recommend the audiobook. Second prompt, a book you read in 2018 that was outside your comfort zone. You know what? I looked through my entire list and I didn't read any books outside my comfort zone. It was not a groundbreaking year. It wasn't the best year I've ever had in reading. It wasn't the worst. It was just kind of right middle of the road, and I didn't read anything, I don't think, that was outside of where I normally read. Prompt number 3 is, how many books did you reread in 2022? And if you'd asked me this without looking at my Goodreads list of books that I read, I would say that I read probably reread 7 or 8 books. And instead, when I actually looked at the statistics, I only reread 2 books. So I was very surprised at that, and I'm a little disappointed because I love rereading very much, but it just didn't happen. Maybe I will do better in that area next year. And the Question 4 is favorite reread of 2022, and I would think that was A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. I'd read that before. It felt like I was reading it again for the first time for some reason when I reread it this year in anticipation of The Candy House. So it was just as good as I'd remembered and probably better. Number 5 is a book that you read for the first time in 2022 that you look forward to reading in the future. And for me, that is the Regeneration Trilogy by Pat Barker. It has 3 books that are about World War I, and they are about a particular group of men in England who are suffering from various psychiatric ailments due to World War I and also to events from their past. And so it centers on the psychiatrist who is treating these patients and then the patients as they come into the psychiatric hospital. And the goal of this care is to get them ready to send back to battle. And so all 3 books talk about that, but they are all different. Each book is historical fiction, and each focuses slightly differently on different topics and different characters, but the main character, Rivers, is the physician, and he is in every book, and some of the characters overlap, but there are different focuses. And it was just, it was very immersive. It was very, I thought they were written in the 90s, and I thought that they went well beyond the subject matter that you might expect from something written in the 90s. There's a lot of queer literature, or a lot of queer relationships. There is a lot of course, anti-Semitism and that they explore. And if you're interested in historical fiction that isn't really, I wouldn't call it commercial, I'd call it more literary, and just beautifully done and very poetic, and the writing is amazing, and I just really enjoyed that entire trilogy. And I look forward to rereading it again sometime. Number 6, what is a favorite short story or novella you read in 2022? And I am choosing a story that was reprinted in the Best Short Stories of 2022 O. Henry Prize anthology, and it is called Horse Soup by Vladimir Sorokin. And it originally was published in N+1 magazine, which is an online literary journal. I don't know if they have a print journal or not, but they do publish the stories online. And I have going to put a link below so that you could read the story if you wanted to. It's quite long, and it is kind of set during the fall of the Soviet Empire, and someone that had been held as a prisoner in a prison camp in Russia gets out and develops a fetish for watching this particular young woman eat food. And I won't say any more than that, but it was really interesting. I think it brings in a lot of history of the time and what it was like. There was a lot of hope because of perestroika, but you just don't know exactly what's going to happen, or the characters don't know. And there's a sense of hope, but there's also a sense of despair, and they're grappling with what happened to them in the past during the Soviet Empire. So I still think about it sometimes, just the premise of it. I don't remember a lot of the particulars, but it was a really strong story, and I think people would enjoy it. Number 7, Mass Appeal, a book you liked and would recommend to a wide variety of readers. And for this one, I'm choosing The Last Thing You Surrender by Leonard Pitts Jr. This is a World War II novel, but it is about the Black experience in both America, in the home front and in the battlefront. A lot of the war takes place on the Pacific front. There is incredible violence and sexual violence, war violence, a lot of discrimination, a lot of there's a lynching. I mean, so the book is steeped in violence, but it also has really strong characters and a really good story. And I just thought it was excellent. And I would like to read more of his books in the future. Number 8, Specialized Appeal, a book you liked but would be hesitant to recommend to just anyone. And for this one, I am choosing a graphic memoir that I just finished yesterday, and it's called Ducks, 2 Years in the Oil Sands by Kate Beaton. And this is a memoir. She is a cartoonist, and she's written some like very whimsical anthologies of her comics. She had a web comic. That's how she got started. But when she graduated from college, she had a huge amount of student loans, student debt, and she was born in Nova Scotia, and she cannot figure out how to get a job in the field of what she graduated from to be able to pay off these loans. And everyone at this time, I think it's around 2008, are going to the oil sands in Alberta to work in these huge mining camps. And there are very few women that go. I mean, it's like 50-to-1 male to female ratio. And she is 20 years old. And it's just all about her recollections of what it was like in this very bleak environment, finding fun and also finding a lot of sadness, loneliness, alienation from the population, not a lot of friendships, and just homesickness is a huge part of it too. So, but she does, it's kind of a coming of age as well. She grows up, she realizes what she doesn't want to do, and she develops her ability to write webcomics. There's so much more to it. It's 400 pages. It's quite comprehensive, but it was just excellent, and I highly recommend it. Hi, this is me coming back to you from the future. As I was editing my video, I was pretty happy with most of it, and then until I got to the end about reflections on how it all went. And so I'm going to redo this part and just forgive the change in perspective and camera position and all of that stuff. But I just really wanted to do it again. Reflect on your year as a bookish content creator, goals met, good, bad memories, favorite videos you made, etc. All right, first, I guess I'll reflect on my reading in general. It wasn't the strongest year I've ever had in reading, but it was a good year. I have nothing, like no regrets, I guess. I read a lot of war literature, which I really enjoyed, but I wasn't able to meet all my goals, and I'm going to do another video about this later, but I had set some expectations and set aside a set number of books that I wanted to concentrate on, and I didn't end up reading even half of those. But so I was, it was hit or miss. When you're into book clubs and you do a bunch of group reads and buddy reads, those books do take precedence over the books that you might have just kind of set aside. So that was part of my excuse, I guess. And as far as my content creation goes, I mean, I give myself like a C, basically. I wish I'd done more videos. I wish that I wouldn't get hung up on the details that kind of stop me from making videos. It's like, well, the lighting's not good, and my background doesn't look great right now, and when I film in the loft, the light is really weird and it reflects in my glasses, and, you know, all those little insecurities and questions that kind of can easily throw me into a opinion of, well, I'll just film it tomorrow, or I will just skip it this week. And that happened a lot. So I would like to get over that. And I'm not exactly sure what to do about that. I do think filming here in my office is the easiest in terms of controlling the light and how it looks, and just, but I do need to kind of spruce up the back. We've been working on our house all year, and my office is the last room that's, you know, everything just kind of came in here as like a holdover. So I need to work on that, and I plan on it. But in general, I'm just still very pleased with BookTube in general. I've been doing it since 2018, so it was 4 years this year. And I know that if I were a little more consistent, it would be better. But this is where we are at right now. So this is where I am. And I love watching other people's videos. I love the comment section of any video. I think that's where the heart of everything is, the discussions that people have with each other. And, you know, so to all of my fellow booktubers, thank you so much for all the hard work you put in this year. And I intend to be better. And I enjoyed reading all that war literature, and I want to read more of it. I feel like I got a lot out of books that were written a long time ago, more so than the recent releases. That's definitely true this year. My recent releases, some were good, some were really not very good. And I find myself more gravitating towards the backlist. So that is my reflection on this year. If you subscribe to my channel, or if you've stumbled in here and you watched this long, I just want to say thank you very much for watching my videos. It means a lot to me, and I look forward to another year of us figuring out this crazy world together through literature. So I will see you in the very next video very soon, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Happy New Year!